The story of a modern Hollywood icon often begins on screen, but it's the chapters written away from the glare of the set lights that truly define a legacy. And to understand the journey of someone like Blake Lively, we have to rewind to the beginning. To the world of teen drama and star-making turns on a show called Gossip Girl, where a young actress from a talented family stepped into the impossibly chic shoes of Serena Woodsen, and in that role she didn't just play a character, she embodied an archetype of effortless, cool, and captivating beauty, a persona that instantly captivated millions and launched her into a stratosphere of fame that few ever experience. But what makes Blake's narrative so compelling is what she did with that launchpad. She could have easily been typecast as the charming socialite forever, but she consciously, carefully began building a brand that was uniquely her own. She transitioned to films like The Age of Adeline, playing a woman who never ages, a role that mirrored her own seemingly timeless appeal. And then in The Shallows, she was a lone survivor against a great white shark, a performance that was raw and physical, proving her mettle as a lead who could carry a blockbuster on her shoulders. But her true mastery has been in the curation of her public life. She became a style icon not by following trends, but by setting them with her impeccable red carpet choices, each telling a story of old Hollywood glamour meets modern confidence. And then there is her entrepreneurial spirit with the launch of Betty Buzz and later Betty Booze, a non-alcoholic and alcoholic mixer company inspired by her family and her own creative vision. This wasn't a simple celebrity endorsement. This was a founder building a business from the ground up, a testament to her savvy and her desire to create something tangible and separate from the flickering images on a screen. Her social media presence became legendary, a carefully calibrated yet seemingly spontaneous glimpse into a life filled with humor, love for her family with actor Ryan Reynolds, and a relatable self-deprecation that made her feel like a friend to millions. This entire ecosystem of career, fashion, business, and family is what we can call the house that Blake built, a formidable and respected edifice constructed with intelligence, charm, and an unwavering control over her own narrative, a reputation not just as a star, but as a savvy businesswoman, a devoted mother, and a genuinely likable public figure. And in the world of celebrity, where perception is currency, the integrity of that house, the carefully built reputation, is everything. It is the asset that fuels everything else. It is the foundation upon which all future dreams are built, and protecting that foundation is not just a matter of vanity, it is a matter of professional survival and personal integrity in an industry that can be quick to judge and slow to forget, which brings us to the complex reality of life. In that spotlight, a place where the bright lights can sometimes cast long and complicated shadows, living life in the public eye is a double-edged sword of magnificent proportions. The same spotlight that illuminates your triumphs can also magnify your challenges. And for a celebrity like Blake Lively, whose brand is so intricately tied to positivity and relatability, any threat to that image isn't just a personal affront, it becomes a professional crossroads. This is the paradox of modern fame. The public invites you into their homes through your roles and your social media feeds. They feel a connection to you, and in return, they feel a sense of ownership over your narrative, which means that every move is analyzed, every comment is dissected. And sometimes that scrutiny spills over into the legal arena, where claims and lawsuits can emerge and become headline news regardless of their merit. This is where the narrative can get clouded, where the clear story of a career can be interrupted by a different kind of story, one that is often complex and light on facts, but heavy on implication. In the case of the recent lawsuit that has been mentioned in the media surrounding Blake Lively, the details are inherently legal and private, but the public dimension is what interests us here. The headline, as we know it from reports, is that this is a case centered on reputation. And when we hear a fellow industry voice like Justin Baldoni, an actor and filmmaker known for his own platform of kindness and male vulnerability, state his opinion that such a lawsuit is without merit and should be thrown out, it forces us to take a step back and consider the bigger picture. Baldoni is not a legal expert speaking on court procedure, but he is an expert in the ecosystem of Hollywood public perception and human decency. His perspective resonates because it comes from a place of understanding the immense value of a reputation and the potential for the system to be used in ways that create unnecessary conflict and pain. His stance implicitly asks the audience to consider the motivation behind such legal actions. Are they rooted in a genuine grievance, or are they a product of the toxic underbelly of fame, where individuals can sometimes seek to leverage the very public nature of a celebrity's life for their own ends. For someone like Blake, whose entire commercial and artistic identity is built on trust and likability, the mere existence of a lawsuit, even a baseless one, can be damaging. The headline alone can plant a seed of doubt in the public consciousness, and that is often the real injury, not a courtroom loss, but the slow erosion of public goodwill, which is why the instinct to defend oneself is so strong. It is not about litigation for litigation's sake. It is about standing up and saying this version of events is not true. This is not who I am. It is an attempt to reclaim the narrative, to protect the house that she built from a fire that never should have been lit. And this struggle is not unique to her. It is a universal celebrity experience, attacks on fame that everyone from Tom Hanks to Taylor Swift has faced in various forms. It is the moment you have to decide whether to let the noise persist or to use your voice and your resources to silence it. In the sprawling, interconnected community of Hollywood, you often learn more about a person by the company they keep and the voices that rise to defend them when challenges arise. The court of public opinion often hears testimony not just from lawyers but from colleagues and peers. And in the context of the discussion around Blake Lively's legal situation, the supportive statement from Justin Baldoni is incredibly significant. Baldoni has built his public persona on a foundation of empathy and positive masculinity through his project The Way We Met and his book, and talks about redefining manhood. He is widely seen as a voice of reason and compassion in the industry, so when he speaks on a matter, it carries a particular weight of moral authority. His suggestion that the lawsuit is merely about reputation and should be dismissed is not a casual comment. It is a character reference of sorts, an affirmation that within the industry community, Blake is seen as someone whose integrity should not be questioned, and this external validation is a powerful tool in managing these crises. It signals to the public that the person they admire is the same person her colleagues respect. It reinforces the authenticity of the brand she has built. But beyond individual allies, the broader court of public sentiment often plays a decisive role. We can look to history for examples like when Keanu Reeves was targeted by a frivolous lawsuit. The entire internet seemed to rise up in his defense. Memes were created, articles were written, all echoing the same sentiment: this is Keanu, we don't believe it. This public rallying is a form of social justice where the audience's deep connection with a celebrity's body of work and public character becomes a shield. In the case of Blake Lively, that shield is forged from years of being not just a famous face, but a seemingly genuine person. Her playful social media feud with her husband, Ryan Reynolds, for instance, has given us a years-long glimpse into a relationship built on humor and mutual support, a narrative that feels authentic and endearing. You don't just see her as an actress, you see her as a partner, a mother, a woman who is in on the joke. This reservoir of goodwill is her greatest asset when facing public challenges. Fans and observers are naturally predisposed to side with the person they feel they know, the one who has shared laughs with them online and who has presented a version of her life that is aspirational yet grounded. So when a legal challenge emerges, the reaction is often not one of immediate suspicion toward the celebrity, but of skepticism toward the claim itself. People ask, why would she need to do this? She has everything. She is beloved. This is the power of a well-managed and authentic public life. It creates a community of defenders, not just fans, and this community, through its comments, its social media posts, and its continued support, becomes part of the story itself, helping to ensure that the dominant narrative remains one focused on the celebrity's achievements and character rather than on unproven allegations. It is a reminder that in the digital age, a reputation is defended not just in a courtroom, but in the hearts and minds of millions. So where does this leave the story of an icon like Blake Lively when the legal dust eventually settles? The truth is that these moments, however stressful and public, are often just footnotes in a much larger and more magnificent biography. The legacy of a celebrity is not written by their legal battles, but by their enduring work, their cultural impact, and the positive change they inspire in the world. For Blake, the path forward, like her past, is brilliantly clear. It is a path illuminated by the projects she chooses to champion, like her heartfelt advocacy for child welfare and her support for the arts. It is defined by the continued growth of her Betty Buzz empire, a testament to her skill as a business leader beyond the screen. It is highlighted by her evolution as an actress, taking on roles that challenge her and redefine her place in the cinematic landscape, and most beautifully, it is grounded in the family life she has built, which she shares with the public on her On terms of life that seems filled with genuine joy and love, the conversation sparked by situations like this one and by the comments of supporters like Justin Baldoni ultimately serves a larger purpose. It reminds us of the immense human being behind the celebrity brand. It highlights the fragility of a reputation, a commodity that takes a lifetime to build and a single headline to threaten, and it underscores the importance of resilience, the choice to not be defined by a challenge, but to be refined by it, to use it as fuel to build higher and create more. Blake Lively's story is far from over. It is a story that is still being written with every role she takes, every dress she wears, every product she launches, and every joke she shares with her husband and her fans. The ultimate message is one of triumph, not of legal maneuvering, but of creative and personal triumph. The narrative will inevitably return to what it has always been, about immense talent, sharp business acumen, and a relatable humanity that continues to resonate with people around the globe. The lawsuits will fade, the headlines will change, but the legacy of a woman who built an empire on her own terms with grace, intelligence, and a sparkling sense of humor, that is the story that will endure, a story that deserves to be and will be defined not by a single legal challenge, but by a lifetime of inspiring achievements and the powerful, positive reputation she has worked so hard to cultivate and protect from the beginning. If you're intrigued by the world of celebrity and the stories behind the headlines, consider subscribing to the channel. We dive deep into the lives of your favorite stars, and your support helps us bring you more content just like this. Hit that like button if you're ready for the story.